afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the opening session of Three Rings 2021 online. I'm the chairperson for this session, Reiko Sodeno, Shibaratic Institute of Japan. As you remember, we had to cancel the Three Rings in Tsukuba last year, so I'm delighted that the Three Rings is back this year. In the beginning of the session, it is my honor to invite five representatives for opening remarks. Let me invite the first speaker, Dr. Toshiaki Yoshioka, President of Japan Society of Material Cycle and Waste Management.
Yes, thank you for introducing. And on behalf of the Japan Society of Material Cycle and Waste Management, I would like to make greetings on behalf of the Three Links 2021. I would like to express our gratitude for the co-organizers of the Korean Society of Waste Management, the Solid Waste Management Association Thailand, United Nations Center for Regional Development of the Division for Sustainable Development Goals, Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and the United Nations Environmental Program. The Three Links 2002 last year was scheduled to be held in the Tsukuba, Japan in March of last year. But unfortunately, we gave up the holding them face-to-face because it conflicted with the time when the COVID-19 pandemic spread all over the world. Also, because the preparations for the sudden remote event were not enough, we switched to the event on the paper and the website. This year, we are able to hold in online face-to-face conference as a general presentations and a special symposium until the 19th, if not face-to-face. We would like to express our gratitude and respect to the numerous academics, societies, companies, and other sponsors, and all above the all, the many members involved in the implementations. In today's plenary lectures, Professor Sakai, who has been leading of the plenary session, gave a speech on the 3R concept that forms the framework of the plenary session. And Dr. Bam will give a speech on the secrets of the successful circular economy. I'm deeply grateful. By the way, today's March 11th, we are holding on the 10th anniversary of the Great East Japan earthquake, which we cannot forget. In the treatment of the disaster waste generated by the Great East Japan earthquake, the contribution of not only our society, but also the many international organizers involved in the waste treatment were remarkable. It goes without saying that the practical response backward by academic has made a great contribution to society in terms of the resilience. Related symposium were also planned for these three links, and we look forward to discuss on building the academic base for various disasters that many occurs in future. It goes without saying that in the recent year, issue of the plastics and the COVID-19 have become global problems from the perspective of waste and resource circulations. A large number of members of these societies are facing research and practice by making the most of their specialties and are engaged in the research activities and social contributions that have dramatically increased the barriers of our existence. These issues are also including in this symposium. In addition, the International Evaluation Index of the International Journal, the Journal of Material Cycle and Waste Management, jointly published with the Korean Waste Management Societies, is increasing year by year. And the international evaluation is increasing extremely rapidly. This is a result of the immeasurable contributions of researchers involved. Even in the midst of growing sense of the global blockage, it is very measurable to demonstrate the sufficient academic exchange impossible. We would like to extend our opening remarks with the cooperation and expectations of all of you so that we can lead these three links 2021 to success. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Yoshioka. Next speaker is Dr. Jaeyon Lee, President of Korea Society of Waste Management. He was willing to deliver the message, but unfortunately, due to the urgent business, he cannot attend now. We have a video message from him.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am president of Korean Society of Waste Management, also professor of University of Seoul in Korea. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Yoshioka, president of Japan Society of Material Science and Waste Management, Dr. Shabar Parit, parents of Soil Waste Management Association, Thailand, and Mr. Mohanty. Thank you very much. Also, I really appreciate that the remark of speaking to the seventh Three Rings conference on today. Unfortunately, I couldn't speak out online because I have a very important meeting in the government on this afternoon. I'm so sorry about missing the online. By the way, Korean Japan co-host the event about 15 and 16 years ago with the concept of 3R of the waste. Now, it is one of the world's most important waste conference with the Asian countries. By the way, in 2020, last year, we're going to collaborate with the Ministry of Environment in Korea and then KSWM, which is my society, hold a very important waste resource recirculation forum to implement zero waste by the utilizing material recycling, chemical recycling, and energy recycling of waste. This is aimed to the approving the system from now on. In this year, we have to celebrate 25th anniversary of Korean Japan Symposium. Please remember the Professor Yoshioka. As I know, as the Japan Society prepared also this celebration, our society decided to hold the international symposium from the May 26th, 28th. We really expect all your participation, please. Again, I appreciate for the honorable keynote speaker, even if this recording speaker representing the 3 hours conference as an outstanding themes. I would like to thank you for preparing the 3R committees. I really hope that the 3R's conference will continue to develop from now on. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Korean Society, for the video. Then I'd like to welcome Dr. Orachai Chawampari, President of Solid Waste Management Association, Thailand. Dr. Chawampari, the mic is mute.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to give an opening remark today. I'm delighted to be here today at the opening of the 7th 3R International Scientific Conference on Material Cycle and Waste Management. Solid Waste Management Association Thailand was established by a group of people who realized that there are a lot of challenges and opportunities in waste management in Thailand. Our members consist of individuals from 4 sectors, including the academic sector, government, business, and the general public. The main objective of Solid Waste Management Association Thailand are to develop and support activity related to waste management, improve standard and ethics to ensure environmentally sound practice of waste management, coordinate and cooperate with stakeholders from different sectors in Thailand and internationally, disseminate knowledge and raise awareness on sustainable waste management to the public. We derive that SWAT is partnering with the Japan Society of Material Cycle and Waste Management at this 3 Rings conference to promote collaboration. Exchange of ideas and information internationally is very key to our work at SWAT. Population growth, urbanization, and industrialization have dramatically changed our city and town. Sustainable waste management is an urgent issue that needs to be addressed. This also created enormous opportunity for organizations and companies globally to help deliver long-lasting solutions. This conference is held online as we are at an unprecedented time in history with COVID-19 pandemic going on around the world for over 1 year now. I'm glad to see that our sector remain very active and work very hard, especially during the pandemic. 3R is fundamental for sustainable waste management, and the circular solutions are essential for us to make full use of our precious finite resource. In many situations, effective solutions require interdisciplinary approach and international collaboration to speed up innovation and learning. At this conference, Professor Chad Jiamchaisi, our executive committee member, is supporting the section of recovery and preparation of organic waste as an alternative fuel. I wish the organizer and all participants a very productive conference with plenty of learning and sharing. Collaboration is key to success, and we looking forward to work with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Chawampari.
Yes.
Then I'd like to invite Mr. Chaudhry Rudracharan Mohanty, Environment Program Coordinator of United Nations Center for Regional Development of Division for Sustainable Development Goals, Department of Economic and Social Affairs.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Dignitaries, distinguished scientists, experts, and resource persons. On behalf of UNCRD, UNDESA, we express our deep appreciation to the Japanese Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management, Korean Society for Waste Management, and all other co-organizers and partners for convening the 7th 3R International Scientific Conference on Material Cycle and Waste Management. This conference is extremely important for us as the Regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum in Asia Pacific, led jointly by UNCRD and the Ministry of the Environment of Government of Japan, and the 3R rings process are interlinked and mutually reinforcing in the context of achieving the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. As you know, the Asia Pacific has been the most dynamic region globally, and most growth in resource use has been triggered by the rapid urbanization and the industrial transformation. The policy and the scientific community in Asia Pacific have recognized the large challenges of resource supply security, increasing waste and pollution, climate change, and increasing frequency and magnitude of the natural disasters are as critical concern to future growth and the rising material standards of living in the region. At the same time, as you know, the UN member countries are concurrently implementing a number of international agendas and agreements which are interlinked and mutually reinforcing, such as the 2030 Agenda, the SDGs, the Paris Agreement on Climate Change, the New Urban Agenda, the Addis Ababa Action Agenda, the Nairobi Mandate, and the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, among others. The 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, SDG in particular, not only call for equitable economic growth, but also provide an important political and implementation framework to implement 3R and resource efficiency to achieve circular economy development, which is an alternative economic growth model, which is not at the expense of finite natural resources and ecological assets, rather it is regenerative. So 3R and circular economy not only provide an important basis in achieving the SDGs, they also provide synergies in our combined effort in achieving the other SDGs. Therefore, UNCRD brings both policy and scientific community to convene on an annual basis the regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum in Asia Pacific to strengthen the science policy interface in addressing 3R and resource efficiency as the basis for economic growth, pollution prevention, and strengthening resilience of cities and communities, and after all, to achieve all these international goals and agendas. As you know, the Hanoi 3R Declaration, which was agreed at the 4th Regional 3R Forum with 33 goals, is providing an umbrella policy framework for implementing 3R policies and programs at all levels in Asia Pacific, but still majority of the countries are still linear, following the linear economic model in which waste are traditionally thought of having no value, and they are either open dumped and burned and mismanaged or unmanaged and landfilled. As a consequence, as you know, for example, 8 million tons of plastics end up in our oceans, and at least 51 trillion microplastics are already into our ocean. And if this business as usual trend continues, some studies say that there will be more plastics in fish by 2050. While few countries have made progress in advancing institution and governance mechanism for the implementation of 3R policies and programs, including development of dedicated 3R infrastructure like science park, theme parks, resource recovery facilities, eco-industrial parks, a conventional style of institutions of governance still prevails in a large part of the region. Therefore, it is extremely important that the countries should drive a science, innovation, and technology-based culture in overall policy setting and development agendas. And this could be enabled by promoting networks of innovation and network of innovation centers for resource efficiency, and also by promoting government and international collaborative research projects. In this regard, we believe the outcome of 3R rings process are extremely valuable in providing necessary technical and policy guidance to the countries and the cities. Finally, I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to join the 11th Regional 3R and Circular Economy Forum, which is expected to be hosted by the Russian Federation sometime later part of this year. Thank you, and I wish all the success of 7th 3R rings.
Thank you, Mr. Mohanty. Then let me invite the final speaker, Ms. Lizia Noronha, Director of Economy Division of United Nations Environment Program.
Thank you very much, Reiko. And Professor Shioka, President of Japan Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from Nairobi. Let me, on behalf of UNEP, thank Professor Shioka for inviting me today to the opening session and for inviting UNEP to join the 3 rings. We're very pleased to join the 3 rings conference where experts, researchers, and governmental officials will be discussing environmentally sound management of waste. First, I would like to express my deepest condolences to those who lost loved ones in the Great East Japan earthquake, and my deepest sympathies to all of those whose lives have been affected since then. 10 years ago on this day, I vividly remember following international media reporting on the situation of the Tohoku area in shock and disbelief, and then working with IJES on responses to both decentralizing energy and also building resilience of society. We mourn the lives of all those and will honor those who've been putting tremendous efforts in the recovery for the last 10 years to build a resilient society. At the request of the government of Japan, UNEP brought together an international team of waste management experts to document the lessons from the massive waste management exercise that Japan was undertaking at that time. I'm very happy to note that Professor Shioka was part of that team. UNEP, through its International Environment Technology Center in Osaka, also produced a report managing post-disaster debris, the Japan experience, in order to document the lessons from the Japanese experiences and to share it globally. UNEP organized the 5th session of the United Nations Environmental Assembly just a month ago, where member states approved the medium-term strategy for the years 22 to 25, which sets out a vision for UNEP's role in delivering the promises of the 2030 Agenda, which you just heard my colleague, Mr. Mohanty, referring to. Member states and UNEP commit to combat the triple planetary crisis of climate change, nature loss, and pollution, including waste management. However, we recognize that the COVID-19 pandemic has exacerbated existing problems and threatened efforts to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. At Geneva 5, UNEP Executive Director Inga Anderson called for backing a sustainable and green recovery from this pandemic. 2021 is a very critical year to rethink our relationship with nature. It's a clear warning from the planet that we must take actions on all the promises the world has made in the past years. This is also an opportunity to increase our ambition to commit more. During UNEA 5 this past month, the UN Secretary General also emphasized the importance of ensuring a post-2020 framework for the sound management of chemicals and waste. He urged the prevention of harmful chemicals and waste from entering the environment and adoption of effective, safe alternatives to safeguard the health of people. Let me now turn to focus on waste management, on which this conference will dedicate its attention for the next 2 days. One of the triple planetary crises is pollution. The COVID-19 pandemic is posing enormous challenges, as you just heard, from municipalities who are faced with challenges of growing and mounting waste to inter and transboundary aspects of pollution that we again heard, including marine pollution. With support from the government of Japan, UNEP produced a report, Waste Management During the COVID-19 Pandemic, as a joint publication of the IJES Center collaborating with UNEP on environmental technologies. On behalf of UNEP, I would like to thank the government of Japan and CCET for their kind contribution and collaboration to our work on the COVID-19 waste management. COVID-19, we all agree, creates additional challenges in waste management to developing countries. Inadequate and inappropriate handling of healthcare waste may have serious public health consequences and a significant impact on the environment. I recognize that we will have further discussions on COVID-19 waste management on the 19th of March during the specific program on COVID-19 waste management in which my UNEP colleagues will take part. We look forward to these discussions on waste management during that conference. So one of the primary messages from UNEP is to use existing waste management systems to their fullest in the context of circularity. And again, you heard my colleagues speaking to this concept. This concept had its birth very much in Japan. It allows us to advance the way we consume and produce in a more sustainable manner and can lead to a shift toward inclusive green economies to achieve the goal of the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development. The theme of INEA 5 this year was strengthening actions for nature to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. So it is an era of action. If we do not fully commit ourselves to solve the 3 planetary crises quickly, the planet will continue to warm, nature will be continuing to decline, pollution will proceed unabated, and many lives will be affected. We must take actions to reverse these trends now. International and intersectoral cooperation is essential. Since UNEP IETC was established in 1992 in Osaka, our team has been working to implement sustainable solutions to environmental challenges with a very clear focus on holistic waste management. We deeply appreciate the continuous support of the Japan Society of Material Cycles and Waste Management. Sharing the same priority of protecting nature for future generations, we hope to take the vision of this conference into the world together and ensure our steps forward to the sustainability of the earth. Thank you again for the honor and the privilege of addressing this conference, and I wish you the very best for a productive discussion during the next days. Thank you.